that even the darkness can't carry alone. And as the world outside my window holds its breath, I feel the weight of everything unspoken settle quietly between my ribs. Your name sits somewhere in that silence, not shouted, not whispered, just present like the faint glow of a distant light I can't reach, but can't stop looking at. I sit still, not because I'm calm, but because any movement might disturb the fragile balance between who I am now and who I was when your shadow still stretched into the corners of my life. It's strange how memory works, how it chooses certain moments to haunt you gently, softly, almost lovingly, as if pain could be something you learn to live with, the way you learn to live with a scar. There was a time when I thought forgetting was a matter of effort, but time has taught me that the heart is not a place you can sweep clean. It's a room where the things we lose learn how to stay in quieter forms, and you've stayed in the quietest form of all. Sometimes I close my eyes just to see the version of you that existed only in my presence. The one the world never met, the one who breathed differently when the room grew soft, the one whose fear looked so much like longing you couldn't tell the difference. I don't know if that version ever truly belonged to me, but it lives in me as if it did. If the universe bent for a moment and placed you here again in this dim room with your tired voice and trembling hands, I think we'd both understand a truth neither of us were ready for, that love doesn't always return when it should, but it never leaves the places where it grew. I wouldn't ask for explanations, I wouldn't ask for closure, I wouldn't ask for anything that might shatter the fragile air between us. I'd simply look at you long enough for everything we never said to rise like smoke from the ruins of who we were. But you're not here, only the quiet is, only the soft thrum of a heart learning how to beat without the rhythm it once memorized. I exhale slowly, as if the night might catch my breath and carry it to you, a small reminder that somewhere in the dark a soul still holds your name without bitterness. Some people think moving on means erasing the past, but I've learned that real moving on is learning to walk forward with shadows beside you, shadows you no longer fear, shadows you no longer fight, shadows that remind you some things were real even if they didn't last. Maybe one day you'll feel the faint pull of a memory you thought had died, a soft ache pressed between two quiet heartbeats. And maybe you'll pause long enough to understand that some connections don't disappear, they just fall asleep in the deepest parts of us until something gentle wakes them again. Until that day I sit here in this dim, breathless silence, letting the truth unfold exactly as it always meant to. You were not my ending, you were not my beginning, you were the space between, the place where my heart learned that even unfinished stories can echo for a lifetime if they're written in the right part of the soul. Some nights don't ask questions, they simply place a hand on the center of your chest and wait for the truth to rise on its own. Tonight is one of those nights. The air feels thick with memory. The darkness sits too close, and every breath I take pulls your name a little deeper into the hollow places I pretend don't exist. I sit here quietly as if movement might disturb the fragile balance inside me, this strange mixture of acceptance and longing, of healing and hurt. It's a delicate thing, learning to hold a wound without letting it bleed, learning to remember someone without letting the memory take everything from you. Your absence has a temperature now, cool, steady, familiar, wrapping around my ribs like something I've grown used to wearing. And still some part of me reaches out in the dark, as if your shadow might be there, as if the universe might slip and let you return for just a moment longer than before. Sometimes I think about the version of you that never made it to the world, the version that wasn't afraid to stay, the version that didn't run from the softness it found in my eyes, the version that might have loved me in a quiet way. Your silence always hinted at, if you walked in right now with that calm sadness you tried so hard to hide, I wouldn't ask you where you've been, I wouldn't ask why you didn't come back sooner, I wouldn't ask anything. I just look at you long enough for you to understand that my heart never learned how to close the door you walked away from. Maybe you'd sit beside me close enough for our breaths to find the same rhythm, but far enough for the past to keep its distance. And in that breathless space between us, I think we'd finally hear the truth we never spoke. We were never unfinished, we were simply too afraid of what finishing the story might do to us. But you're not here, only the night is only the sound of my own pulse, quiet and unsteady, reminding me that some things don't disappear, they simply learn to live where no one else can see. I close my eyes and trace the outline, the ache you left behind. It's softer now, less like a wound, more like a map, a reminder of the place where I once tried to meet you halfway, a place I still carry even after time has done its best to blur the details. Maybe one day you'll feel a quiet tug somewhere beneath your ribs, a pull you can't quite name. And maybe you'll follow it through the noise, through the years, through the shadows you've learned to hide behind, until it leads you back to a moment waiting for you in the softest part of memory. But until then I sit here letting the darkness fold around me like a confession I'm finally brave enough to keep. And in the quiet I whisper a truth I've never said aloud. I didn't need forever with you, I just needed the chance to tell the story we were both afraid to begin. place at all. They feel like doorways to the versions of myself I thought I'd outgrown. And tonight, as the room sinks deeper into its own silence, I realize I'm still carrying pieces of you in places I never meant to store anything fragile. I lean my head back, letting the dim light fall across my face in soft, uneven strips. And for a moment it feels like the world pauses, as if the universe recognizes that your memory has taken a seat beside me again. Uninvited, unannounced, utterly familiar. It's strange how presence works. You can be gone for so long that even the echoes fade, and yet one quiet hour can pull everything back with the force of a whispered truth that refuses to die. And tonight I feel you in the air, in the way the wind stalls, in the way my breath trips, in the way my heart remembers how to tremble. Sometimes I think I invented the softer parts of you, carved them from moments I wanted to last longer than they did. But then I remember the small things, the way your eyes shifted when vulnerability caught you off guard, the way your voice dropped when emotion got too close to the surface, the way silence wrapped around you like a shield you didn't know how to put down. If you stood before me now, framed by the dim doorway, like a shadow pulled from memory, I think all the things I meant to ask would fall apart before reaching my lips, because some connections don't survive explanations. They survive in the unspoken places, in the breath held between two people who never figured out how to meet in the middle without breaking. I imagine your face, tired, uncertain, haunted by choices you pretend not to remember. And maybe for the first time I would let you see the version of me that learned to survive, even with your ghost sleeping in the quiet corners of my soul. I'd want to tell you that you didn't ruin anything. You simply awakened a part of me I wasn't ready to understand, that the ache I carry isn't anger, isn't longing, just a gentle sadness for a story that paused before either of us learned how to keep writing. Footsteps I hear are the echoes of my own breathing, slow and fragile, as if my chest is afraid of what will rise if I draw air too deeply. So I let the night speak to me in the quiet language of things that remain even after they're gone, and your name drifts through that silence with a softness that both comforts and destroys me. Close my eyes and imagine a world where you stayed long enough to understand the gravity of the connection we ignored. A world where I didn't fear losing you and you didn't fear being seen for who you really were. Maybe in that world we survive each other. Maybe in that world the story doesn't end as a question mark buried beneath the ribs. But this is not that world, this is the one where I sit in the half-dark, listening to the pulse of a heart that still stumbles when your memory gently brushes against it, the one where some loves don't fade. They just settle into the architecture of the soul, quietly shaping everything that comes after. So tonight I'll let myself feel it, all of it, the ache, the warmth, the truth, the loss, the lingering pieces of something we never named, but both carried. And maybe that's enough. Maybe the night only asks for honesty, not closure. And in that honesty, in that breath that trembles a little too much, I whisper the truth I've kept buried beneath 100 quiet days. I didn't need you to stay, I just needed you to not walk away before I found the words for what you meant. Some nights fall so quietly that the silence feels like a living thing, breathing beside me, listening to the tremble in my chest, learning the shape of the emptiness I've grown too familiar with. And in that stillness your memory rises again, slow and inevitable, like a tide returning to a shore it never meant to abandon. I sit here without moving, because even the smallest motion might shake loose the truth. I've spent months packing into corners where the light can't reach, but the night has a way of finding what we try to bury. It pulls your name out of the quietest parts of me, and lays it gently into the center of my thoughts, a place it has never truly left. Sometimes I wonder if I invented the softer versions of you, the ones who stayed, the ones who looked back, the ones who whispered their confessions without fear. But then I remember your eyes, not the way they looked at me, but the way they looked away. When emotion pressed too close, there was truth there, fragile and trembling, a truth you were never ready to let me hold. If you were here now, standing in the half-light with all your quiet storms inside you, I wouldn't rush to fill the silence. I'd let the moment breathe, let it unfold on its own, because some hearts can't be approached with force, only with patience. You were always one of those hearts. I imagine you sitting beside me, not touching, not speaking, just letting the air warm between us again. Maybe your hands would shake the way they did when vulnerability cornered you, and maybe I'd finally understand that what felt like distance was really fear, the fear of being seen before you learned how to stay. But the truth is you're not here, only the ache is, only the echo, only the faint imprint of something that once felt possible and now survives in the dim rooms of my memory. I trace the thought of you the way you trace the outline of a scar you've had for years, not to reopen it, not to heal it, but to remind yourself that it was once a wound that changed you. The night deepens around me, pressing gently against the edges of my soul, and I exhale slowly, a fragile release for a weight I've carried too quietly. I don't ask for you to return, I don't pray for what we never became. I simply acknowledge that your absence has shaped parts of me I'm still learning to recognize. as a truth. You were never forgotten, you were simply unfinished. Until then I sit with the night wrapped around me, letting its darkness settle into all the places your presence once softened. And in that stillness I whisper the only goodbye my heart ever understood. The kind that doesn't close a door, just leaves it slightly open in case the universe decides to turn you back this way. Feel like they were carved from the very pieces of silence I try to run from. They stretch across my chest like a long forgotten grief, pressing gently, patiently, until the truth begins to rise from the quietest parts of me. And every time it rises, it carries your name, soft, trembling like a secret I never meant to keep this long. I sit here with the dim light, spilling weak shadows across the floor, and for a moment I forget where the room ends and my thoughts begin, because tonight the line between memory and reality feels thinner than it should, as if one small breath could pull you back into existence. I breathe anyway, slow, uneven, careful, because breathing too deeply might summon a version of you. I'm no longer strong enough to face the version that left quietly but lives loudly in all the spaces I pretend are here. It's strange how someone can become a landscape inside you, how the sound of their silence can echo across your ribs like a song with no melody but all the meaning, how the memory of a single glance can feel like a scripture etched into the softest parts of your humanity. I wonder if you ever think of me in that quiet, reluctant way that feels more like instinct than longing. I wonder if something small, the way the wind pauses, the way your hands shake, the way the night leans in, ever reminds you that somewhere in the world a person still carries your absence like a lantern that refuses to go out. If you walk through my door right now, I don't think anything inside me would shatter. I think the shattering already happened the day the universe decided we were not meant for the same ending. Instead, I would feel that familiar shift, the one where the air grows softer, the world grows quieter, and my heart slows down just enough to remember what it felt like to belong to a moment that never fully belonged to me. Maybe you'd stand there at the edge of the room, caught between coming closer and turning away, because that was always the way you loved the world. Half brave, half broken, always afraid of what would happen if someone saw the truth behind your silence. with accusations, but with the same understanding that lived in me. Long before I ever learned how to name it, I'd want to tell you that you didn't destroy anything in me. You rearranged it, and now everything echoes differently. But since you're not here, and since the night continues its slow descent into my bones, I let the truth spread gently, like ink bleeding into paper, that I miss you in ways that don't ask for your return, in ways that don't demand an ending, only the permission to remember you softly. Because the kind of love we never spoke out loud, as a way of surviving in the quietest corners of who we are, it turns into something less like longing and more like recognition. A quiet nod to the person you were, to the person I was, to the story that wrote itself inside us and refused to leave, even after we did. So I stay here in this dim half-light, letting the night settle around me like a truth I no longer fight. That some people are not meant to be chapters, they are margins, borderlines, the spaces between breaths, where the soul learns what it means to want gently. And maybe someday, when the world grows soft enough and the roads between us stop asking for so much courage, you'll find your way back, not as a promise, not as a future